And in other news, India's Trade Minister Piyush Goyal delivered a very strong message on Friday, indicating that the country won't bow down to tariffs as a weapon. He said India won't rush into trade deals and instead reject any restrictive conditions for an agreement. The country is currently negotiating a long-pending free trade agreement with the European Union. The major differences between India and the EU are over market access, environmental standards, and rules of origin. The country is also negotiating a deal with the United States, which has imposed 50% tariffs on Indian exports. Trade discussions with several other countries are also underway.
An active dialogue with the EU. If we get a fair deal, if we get an equitable and a balanced deal, maybe that will happen. And we are talking to the United States, of course, but we don't do deals in a hurry. And we don't do deals with deadlines or with a gun on our head.
While India faces high U.S. tariffs, Goyal said that the country will avoid any hasty trade agreements. He said India will instead focus on long-term economic benefits and trust building. The trade minister highlighted that the country will not rush into signing any trade agreements. Taking a drive at the U.S. and the EU, he warned that India will reject conditions from partner countries that restrict its trading choices. Speaking at the Berlin Global Dialogue during an official visit, the minister underscored that trade deals are not merely about tariffs or market access. He said the agreements should be about building trust, long-term relationships, and creating sustainable frameworks for global business cooperation. Goyal said, and I'm quoting, "We shouldn't be looking at trade or trade deals in a very short-term context. It's not about what's going to happen in the next 6 months. Trade deals are for a longer duration. Trade deals are not only about tariffs. It's not only about access to goods or services. It's also about trust. It's also about relationships." Now, separately, a report quoting a government official showed that India and the U.S. are close to a trade deal. The official said both sides have found common ground on previous disagreements and are now discussing the finer points and language of the trade pact. But New Delhi has been pressured by the EU, UK, and the US to scale back imports of discounted Russian crude. The Western nations have argued that India's imports help fund Moscow's war effort in Ukraine. However, India has stood its ground and also shown that the West doubles standards for their trade ties with Russia. The country also has long defended its energy purchases as essential for ensuring affordable supplies and energy security. With new U.S. sanctions on 2 major Russian producers, what happens next remains to be seen.